Welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. We are on day 16. And let's begin with the stomach thump. I invite you to check in with yourself. Notice how you are feeling this morning. Or if it's later on in the day, perhaps you're watching this in the afternoon, the evening, even the middle of the night. Checking in with yourself as you begin. Getting a baseline. And we're going to stay here a little bit longer today, just grounding. My day today has been a little bit chaotic. Not too much so, but I am certainly aware Mercury is retrograde and there's a lot happening energetically and collectively. So my day so far hasn't quite gone to plan, so I can feel this grounding thump is really helping my energies to anchor so I can land here in this moment. So what do you notice in your energies? The next thump is the kidney thump, below the middle of the collarbone. And this thump is a really great energy boost. So not only is it balancing for your kidney energies, you are giving yourself an energy boost. So if you find yourself in a slump at all during the day, it's quite common, people can experience that mid-afternoon, sometimes late afternoon between the hours of 5 and 7 p.m, when kidney energy is at its peak, it's high tide. That's sometimes a time where people will really slump with fatigue. So try this thump and you could really go for it when you do it. Sometimes it can feel nice just to hold. Certainly at times, if I'm feeling exhausted, drained, maybe I've had a busy few days, then at times I just like to hold. So you could try that, see how that feels. Perhaps sending in some colour to these points. Asking yourself, if I knew what colour would be for most benefit in my kidney meridian right now, what would that colour be? And then just imagining it beaming from your fingertips onto the kidney 27 points. Now we're going to go on to the thymus thump, so right in the middle of your chest, doing it the way that feels right for you in this moment. So perhaps slower, quicker, using your fingertips or a full fist, using one or both hands, all different variations that you might try. And then last but not least, spleen meridian. So spleen meridian has so many important roles in the body. And one of the top ones is immune system, the other top one being metabolism. When you think about metabolism, that's not just metabolism of food, it's also metabolism of life. So everything that you ever experience, your spleen will help you to metabolize. So certainly if there's experiences that you're having that are stressful, it's possible that through working with spleen, there'll be a bit more ease for you. You'll be more able to assimilate what's going on for you. Now we're going on to crossing over our energies. So raising one leg and tapping with your opposite hand, and then you just alternate back and forth at whatever speed feels right. Noticing how you're feeling as the seconds pass. If you're feeling brighter, maybe you have more energy, you just feel a bit more alive and alert somehow, then that suggests your energies are crossing and maybe you really needed it. And this is one of the most fundamental things in our energies. So really something to work with if you feel like your energies are not crossing very well. Then there's lots of ways that you can work with figure eights and crossing to boost your crossovers. And one of the ones other than the cross crawl is the crossover shoulder pull. So reaching up to a shoulder and then smoothing to your opposite hip. Doing that at least 3 or 4 times on each side of the body. And sometimes it can be nice to bring the energy all the way down your body and off your leg as well, bringing in the crossing over. So let's do that together and see how that feels for you. So once again, it's the same movement from your shoulder to the opposite hip, but then carrying on with one or both hands from the hip, going all the way down the side of your leg and off your foot. And then the same thing on the other side. And you could do one or more crossing and then smoothing all down your leg and off your foot. And noticing how that feels for you. Maybe it felt different to just going to your hip. And when you do this exercise in future, you can do it whichever way feels best for you in the moment. Now we're going to do a Wayne Cook. So crossing one leg over the other, bringing your arms out, palms out, crossing your arms and clasping your fingers, coming underneath. And we're going to do this on both sides of the body for several breaths on each side. And keeping your attention as best you can on how you are feeling, noticing any changes, even if it's very subtle. And then when you're ready, after several breaths, crossing your legs, doing the other side of your body. And sometimes people ask me, how might I know that I'm scrambled? How might I know I need to do the Wayne Cook exercise? So one of the tip-offs that you might find is if it's really difficult to focus your mind and maybe you're watching something or reading something and it feels like the information is just not clicking and you're not able to retain it with ease and integrate the new information that you're learning. And it might not be something that you're studying, although it could be. And if you are studying, I highly, highly recommend doing at a minimum a Wayne Cook before you start going through textbooks. But even just a video or a book that you're watching and reading for pleasure. So you might have had the experience, I think most people have, of reading a page in a book and getting to the end of the page and thinking, I don't know what I just read. So if that ever happens to you, that's a strong indication that your energies are scrambled in that moment. So all you need to do is a Wayne Cook, perhaps holding it for a little bit longer like we are now. Or you might do potentially 2 Wayne Cooks or a Wayne Cook, then start reading and 30 minutes later, pause and do another Wayne Cook. Play with it over time and see what works for you, but there's a good chance it will make quite a big difference for you because the more unscrambled your energies are, the more you can focus your mind. And another main sign that can indicate that someone needs a Wayne Cook is feeling overwhelmed. So if you find yourself really stressed out, quite upset, and you're getting into this territory of overwhelm, and things are feeling less manageable and more chaotic for you, then that also would be a wonderful time. Give yourself the gift of potentially some peace and ease in the trickier moments in life. All right, so let's end the Wayne Cook. We bring fingers and thumbs together. Your thumbs go over your nose, resting here, and taking 1 or 2 breaths in this position. Then resting your hands on your forehead and smoothing over to your temples. And then we're going to go into the crown pull exercise. So continuing with a stretching motion. And this movement helps to make space so energy can become stuck and stagnant anywhere in the body, but the head, the crown, is one of the common places. So stretching across with whatever pressure feels right and continuing all the way around the back of your head. Once you reach your neck, doing the sides of the spine, energy can get quite stuck here too. The more you do this, you might learn in your own energies and notice, my neck always feels a bit sore. And if that's the case, then there's a very good chance that there's stuck energy there. And the more that you move it with these kinds of movements, sweeping away, clearing the stuck energy, it will help. Take a moment to tune in with yourself, your head area and your whole body. Notice anywhere that it feels like energy is flowing better now. And we're going to do the zip up exercise next. So bringing your hands over your pubic bone to begin. Breathing in and coming all the way up and over the top of your head. As you breathe out, lowering your arms. And then continuing, doing this several times. You might want to slow it down. You could speed up the zip up as well, for sure, but in my experience, a lot of the time, people's energies really respond well to doing this one slowly. And oftentimes, if you slow down this exercise and other energy exercises as well, sometimes really that can help people feel more. You might notice more sensations. And next time you come up your midline, stopping at your lips, turning one or both hands like you're turning a key in a lock to lock in that zip up. And now we're going to do the hook up exercise. So placing a finger inside your belly button, or you could go just above if you don't like the sensation of being inside, and then above your nose. And in both places, you're creating a bit of pressure here by pulling in, or pushing in rather, and pulling up. Remembering to breathe. When we hold the hook up, it's good to hold for at least 2 or 3 deep breaths. So now relaxing your arms, maybe giving them a little bit of a shake, particularly if they're a bit tired. And let's connect heaven and earth. So we're starting in this prayerful position. Remember, this one is also great for making space, particularly in your joints, which is quite common. People will share with me that they have knee pain or hip pain, or maybe not pain, just tension, So is that you? If it is, this is a nice exercise to do more often. But be gentle and be kind with your body. Listen to yourself right now in this moment. Notice and listen to what stretch feels the best for you. So breathing in when you're ready and stretching. You've got one arm palm up in the sky. The other one is palm facing down. Holding your breath as you stretch. And when you're ready, breathing out, bringing your hands back to the prayerful position and doing the same thing on the other side. And do go at your own pace. You want to do 2 stretches on each side, minimum. And then the final time that you breathe out, folding forward, letting everything go as best you can. Maybe bringing your attention for a moment to your feet. Noticing and feeling the soles of your feet firmly planted on the ground. And then with your breath, as you breathe out, releasing any excess energy, sending fresh energy all around your body as you make space. And then in your own time, beginning to sway from side to side. And make some figure eights with your arms, slowly coming back up. Continuing with some figure eights, maybe coming over your head if that feels comfortable. If you have any mobility issues such as shoulders, maybe you don't like and it's not comfortable being up here so much, then you can do eights at any height, any place that you want. And then you could visualize as well if you want to reach areas of your body that are a bit trickier. And let's turn a little bit. Before we go on to the Celtic weave, we'll just figure eight round the aura. So if you do a 360-degree turn, notice how it feels. Getting the eights all round your body. And let's do the Celtic weave now. So begin by rubbing your hands together, shaking off any excess energy, rubbing them together again, building up fresh energy now. And opening your hands and see if you want to vary the distance. So in other words, when you open your hands, some days you might come maybe a foot or so apart. Some days it might feel good to open up your hands. And you might not be sure. So in which case, try it different ways at different times. See what feels right for you. Now bringing your hands up, bathing your head in this fresh energy and taking a breath or more here. Now we shall weave down the body. So go at your own pace, breathing in, crossing in front, breathing out, bringing your arms out and doing that several times down the body. Very often we say do it in front of the waist, the hips, the knees, the ankles, but you could really extend it, do it more if you wanted to. And then closing the Celtic weave by fluffing your aura, rolling in this way, helping it to be as fluffed up, as thick, in the most beautiful possible way. So it's not a barrier per se, it's not like there's a big wall around you blocking you from connecting with the outside world. But more than that, you have this protective, multi-layered field around you so that your energies stay separate. So your energies stay really your own, other people's energies stay their own, and you're less likely to pick up things from outside yourself. All right, bringing your arms to hang and just allow them to go wherever they want to go. Check in, notice how you're feeling. And we're going to trace radiant circuits. So we'll start with belt flow, bringing the energy over and across 3 or 4 times. And then smoothing all the way down your leg and off your foot. Repeating on the other side. Take a moment now to check in with the middle of your body. You could even bring one or both hands here and just holding somewhere in this region and just noticing how it feels. And I feel very called. In my head I keep hearing, open up belt flow again. So let's do it a second time and notice how it feels to repeat belt flow. See if you like it. So once again, reaching, bringing the energy over and across. This time you might want to do it a bit differently, potentially a bit faster with more pressure, but go with what feels good to you. Okay, so how was it? 2 belt flows. Can you tell a difference for you and your energies? Now we'll do penetrating flow. So you begin with your hands resting behind your belly button, taking a breath in. When you breathe out, lowering your hands several inches over your tailbone, and then on the next breath, you can be coming up and over around the hips as you breathe out, coming to your pubic bone, and then breathing in and coming up the midline, and tracing some figure eights here as you breathe out. It's the bridge flows we're going to do next. So yin bridge starts in the power point, which is the big dip at the top of your neck here. Perhaps taking a mindful deep breath as you begin tracing. Smoothing up over the top of your head to your forehead. Then coming through the bridge of your nose onto your cheekbones and tapping a little bit here. Now your collarbone point, so an inch below the middle of the collarbone, just where we tapped before for the 4 thumps. Now tracing 3 hearts. And smoothing all the way down the front of your body and off your feet. Onto the yang bridge. So yang bridge is tracing horizontal figure eights, and you can use one or both hands to do so. Generally, we say they're about 3 or 4 inches in height, but there could be a bit of variation there. You might find your hands just naturally do a bit less or more. The key is to make a nice little wall or column of eights in front of you. And with it being yang bridge, yang is the back of the body. So these figure eights are designed for the back of your body. So in a moment, we'll turn round so that you can really physically receive them there. But if you prefer not to turn, maybe you're seated and you don't feel like getting up, or you might be lying down, maybe you're not feeling well right now. So I don't want this to be any effort for you. Energy medicine should be fun and easy. So visualize anything at all that feels a bit trickier, or you don't feel mega motivated for whatever reason. So right now you can visualize those eights at the back of you if you'd like, and then for anyone else, let's turn. And taking a couple of breaths now, really allowing your yang bridge to harmonize. Okay, so let's do the connection between the front and the back of the body. That's where you do figure eights. And if you ever feel like there's some kind of disconnect between the front and the back of your body, then this would be one of the very first things I would recommend that you try. And finally, last but not least, 2 of the other core radiant circuits, yin and yang regulator. Yin regulator begins with a heart on a stick, then coming onto the opposite shoulders and smoothing down to your elbows, and smoothing down the front of your body and off your feet. Now for yang regulator, you're smoothing around the backs of your ears, coming onto your opposite shoulders again and smoothing down. This time it's smoothing the back of the body down for yang. Noticing how it feels. Once again, taking a moment just to scan your body, noticing any areas in particular that might feel different. And we're going to do a wonderful vagus nerve balancing exercise now, resting one hand on your lower belly with your thumb gently inside your belly button. If you don't like that sensation, then just have your hand resting there, somewhere below your belly button. Your other hand resting somewhere at your neck. And the vagus nerve in a lot of people can be quite habitually out of balance. There can be some real habits that can be quite long-term and deeply embedded habits for a person. And it's a nerve that goes and affects all the major organs and has a lot of important roles and functions in the body. And it's very important in relationship with the nervous system. So if you've been through a lot of stress in your life, like really heightened stress, maybe trauma, then that's one of the signs that, yes, you would really benefit most likely from working with the energies of your vagus nerve, improving your vagal tone. And there are lots of other reasons to work with the vagus nerve as well. One of the top ones, which does apply for a lot of people, is digestion. Most people who come to see me for private sessions mention digestion. And for some people, it is very life limiting. It can really get in the way. So be mindful with your vagus nerve, because it's not always the case 100% of the time, as we are all unique in our energies. So everyone's situation is unique. But generally speaking, as a theme among a lot of people with digestion challenges have vagus nerve imbalances. So continuing to hold here, this is a nice one to hold for several minutes or even longer. And while holding, I'm delighted to share a little bit of light language with you. Uma, 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 ana, sika, tuaka, siaka, oshana, aka, ila, ayana, sasasa, kukaya, chia, tala, siokiana, tuakana, sisioke, tuaka, chiona, tuala, tuala, asaya, tuka telese ti aya tuka se sia tu na 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 kaya tu a se shota la se ke tua iana aya sio kona se tua kia tua la 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 shona shona puta kaka asaya na 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 ava ayala na 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 si oke sia na tua ka she se ela ana sa ta 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 kaya tu oke se washa i kanya ayana osa. Take some deep breaths and notice how those light language frequencies are landing in your system. When you're ready, open your eyes if they are closed. And let's visit the wisdom of the sacred rebels. So many of you have shared with you how these messages have been valuable and inspiring to you, and that is such a delight to hear. It really is. Okay. So, this message, glorious message, is relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. So what does that message mean for you? Maybe you take more meaning from the picture than the words. Just a little something, almost something to put in your pocket for the day ahead to take with you, to consider as you move through your day. And I do hope that it's a really lovely day, or perhaps a lovely evening and night if it's later on right now. And we still have some days to go in the challenge. Feel free to go back and revisit any of the previous days. So my very best wishes to you, and I will see you soon. Take care.